Ooh, okay. Good morning. Happy Thursday. It's Journal with me here with Jolene at AJeweldDesign. Couldn't remember who I was there for a second. Okay, ladies and gents. So last week we had issues. We had things cut off. We had things too high res. Hold on one sec. The dog decided she wants back in. We just had all kinds of troubles. It cut off when I was trying to do a bunch of ephemera for you guys. I do notice that when I take off the stabilizer, I get a brighter picture. It doesn't seem to be moving. So we're going to give this a shot. Let's see if I can figure this out. The new settings is sort of goofed up. It is at 1080, so I'm hoping I have room. I have enough space. It's not going to cut off on me. So I will check this constantly. But I thought today we're going to attempt to create the Traveler's Notebook feel for this Heroes in Retro kit. A couple weeks ago, we did a quick reveal of the kit, of the Heroes in Retro kit, and we even did a small tutorial on how to make a letter size digital, directional digital, right, into something closer to a Traveler's Notebook size. And with the cover, this will be 9 by 5. And so the cover definitely gets me up to 9, and it is 5 inches. With a 1-inch binding right now, because we are putting 3 signatures, and I want room for it to be fluffy. Now, this is just a simple piece of white corrugated type cardboard. It was the only thing I could find right now that was 9 inches. Everything else I found was not wide enough or tall enough. So it's a perfect size. I don't even know where it came from. It's a little demented. It's a little crunchy. It has some issues, but we're going to cover this all up. We're going to cover it with that fabric, with collage papers, glue it on, layer it up, make it a nice, great cover for this. But before I cover this and make this gorgeous cover, I want to make sure my technique works. And so I put 3 holes, top and bottom, and they're not lined up. Oh my gosh, they're terrible. And it may very well be that when we fix this, now that I'm looking at it, that I end up, the holes will get covered. I 10-1 will be putting, it's close. I'll be putting stuff underneath everything I'm doing. We will cover up the messes. They're not that bad. It's just this one. It was not quite where I wanted, so we won't do the inside. But I was bad. I didn't do, if you want to see the better way to do this, Crafty Cat's really good. She's smart. She does her templates like she's supposed to. She's a good girl. So that those lines line up when you're going to do, sewing in your signatures. Now, being that it's a TN and that we have a very, I lost the other end of this, didn't I? Eek. Okay. There's a little metal thing, and I realized it seemed really easy to do that, so I wonder if I lost it in here. That's all right. I've done good. I've kept it on for a while. Oh, there it is. See? It's like, so you don't poke yourself. It has a safety net on it. It's what I use for, it's the awl that we use for when we're going to sew in a journal. But because they are accordioned in the middle, and that they are, sort of glued in here interestingly, I was hoping to keep things intact, that we were going to put a stretchy string through them and treat them like some of the Happy Planner Traveler notebooks that I've seen in the past. We're going to just sort of loop them through the middle to make sure everything stays in place. Because I don't think, because of the binding here in the middle, that just sewing it in would rip through. And I don't want to rip the pages with a standard figure 8 sewing concept. That way too, I guess if I really wanted to, I could decorate each one of these and then slip it back in. And maybe it might be easier too, since we have 3 signatures. So here's my TN. Haven't done the size before. We wanted to take the papers. I will link, of course, here in the card. I will link the reveal. No, I will probably link the tutorial on how to make these accordion Traveler's Notebook signatures, so that you can see how I've turned an 8.5 by 11 into, a 4 1/4 by. It's a smidge, 4 1/4 by. Of course, I'm guessing here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 1/4. Yeah. So the cover makes it a 9 by 5, but this is now an 8 1/4 by 4 1/4 Traveler's Notebook signature using an F by 11 directional digital kits, or any paper for that matter. I mean, if you find one where it's here and you just want to cut out the bottom, there's this cute accordion way that I tried for it. gave me a binding in the middle. I just folded papers and barely glued them in the middle. And we're going to rely on this to keep it together. So, let's get to going. Like I said, I got this cardboard was 11 by 9 perfectly. So, I just did my best to try to fold it at the 5 and 6 mark. So, I got a 1 inch and keeping it at 5. And so far, it's working out. So far, right? So, here's what my thought process was. A lot of people do, I mean, I guess I could have put one more in there, but I am going to attempt to, and I do want to see the string. It is a pretty blue. It's actually really pretty with this. It's very close to what we're doing. And I am just going to tie them on the bottom of each one of these into a nice tight little knot. And I might even glue over that knot at one point to make sure it stays. And I figured I could put these either top and bottom every other. But I may, you know, nub it, make little nubs here is what the whole hope was, that they would stay and that they would give me, what I'm looking for. But I will not cut these until I know it's good. Now I went ahead and wrapped these for length. I know I overdid it, but I went ahead and simply, see, that's gonna be pretty. If I put it underneath it and collage it underneath it, so you can still see the blue. I think it's going to be really nice for, and I'm way off still, but yeah, I'm bad. Okay, so here's the thought. Yeah, I went ahead and for measurements, I mean, I went ahead really over. I'm at, let's see, let's go down to the other thing. I'm probably off camera at the moment. Sorry, I went like a little over 9 inches. No, 10 to 29. 19 inches. Whew. I went 19 inches long. Because you are doubling up. You're doing, you know, a 9-inch thing. I just went ahead and was like, okay, well, let me swap it down the middle, right? And like, gather it together and see, like, well, okay, how much do I need to cover it up? And then, oh, yeah, I still need to make, you know, some kind of a knot. So I just sort of guessed at it that way. And so far, it looks like it's going to work. Looks like, especially when you tighten it up a little bit to make sure it's really, you know, elasticy. And the fun part was I thought I could do this with girls' headbands, right? I wanted the really skinny sort of round ones, which they don't make anymore. They do like a flat headband. And Dollar Tree used to do them. Target didn't really have anything. Nothing was round in the sense of the channel. I wanted this to stay round. I didn't want it to go flat. These might have worked, but being flat would put them in a weird angle, and I don't think it wasn't gonna work the way I wanted to. And we couldn't find anything else. I think we found a wider, somewhat rounded black one, but I didn't want black. And again, it was gonna seem really wide. And at the last minute, I came across at Dollar Tree. Yeah, Dollar Tree I think it was, because it's their craft square stretch lace. At least they're calling it stretch lace. It was 4 colors, 5 yards each. Which, okay, maybe. 19 divided by times 3. Yeah, okay, we're getting there. I'm like, yeah, we're getting there. So I found the 4 colors. I knew the blue is what I wanted. I have these. It could probably work with another, you know, floral ordeal. And I'm like, I think that's going to work. I think it's going to do that TN, you know, band idea that I want. And because I love it. I have a couple ladies who make happy planner covers, and they're doing the same thing. They're putting in these bands, you know, so that you can just sort of slip, you know, a simple notebook in there. So I thought, well, let's try it for this and see how it works. But I really wanted to test it out before I went and made this gorgeous cover, and then find out it's just, you know, not gonna work. And I'm definitely off, but that's nothing new. I try to do these by hand for my autumn one also, and I did a 3 signature autumn cover. Try to put a, you know, a little bit of a binding in it. But that one I sewed each one of those in, and I sort of sewed those in by like eyeballing them in. So yeah, that was like, definitely need a template. I know better, you know, but I get impatient and I just want to get it done, and I want to show you guys. So definitely take your 1 inch. I mean, and I tried to eyeball it half, and like somewhere between your 1/8 and 1/4 was where I was trying to put the dots. I mean, I did sort of try to measure that out, but I think the top I didn't really catch it the way I should have. So I'm going to give me a moment. I'm going to check, because 5 minutes goes by really quickly, and I'm hoping I am still recording, because I would just die if I cannot record. If I have to record in that other dance, I'm going to be so upset. Okay, so far so good. I'm at 9 minutes, 10 minutes, and we're still going. Okay, so don't do 4K. 4K is too high res. Your phone cannot hold it unless you have like a phone with like 512 megabyte, whatever in it. Yeah, don't do it. We'll do the 1080 is what I work off most of the time. I even drop it to a 720 when I like fix it for you guys. And like, okay. So I'm hoping I figured that out. Oh, my phone went to something weird. I hope this works. I think it is. I think it's really simple. I think it's just finding the pieces of cardboard that we need. Finding like this, they're calling this a stretchy lace. So you see I'm just slipping it into the middle. I'm finding my middle, which we did the cream, I think, for every one of the middles in this case. The only thing will be, and it won't slide around because if I keep the knot on the bottom, it'll keep it from bouncing around too much, I think. I'm really hoping. Only downside is if no, okay, I know it's hard for you guys to see, but see, here we go. See, there's the top. You guys should see that. So it's just sitting in between, and then I have all this room to fill it up and not worry about it being too thick. Oh, I'm in love. I'm in love. Of course, my fingers don't work, but look at that. It's nice and blue. I will trim all these down and probably put a little bit of glue on each one of them so they stay where they're supposed to stay, so they don't run around too much. But I mean, really, all in all, it's not bad. And I don't really want to fold it again. I mean, yeah, this one's a little on the outside. This one's a little far from the inside. Perfectly imperfect, as we love to say. Me and my mom both. We are perfectly imperfect, and this is, what we do. So as you can see, ladies, on top, hopefully it looks really cool on your behalf. See, they're just in between, and we get each one of these accordion bindings. Now with one accordion, we got pages bound in here. Ooh, look at that. There is quite a bit of room here in the sense of on the outside of it, and it's pretty well centered. I would say maybe a little low on my end. You wouldn't be able to tell here, but I think because my pages are only 8 1/4 and this is 9, it's 3/4 of an inch. But I wanted to have room to make sure that these guys did their job. So the only difference might be that I decided to make this. Like maybe we put it on the top one. So maybe to keep it sort of like even. I have one on the top notch and I have the other two on the bottom to see if it helps with any placement. I don't know if it really makes a difference. Not really. So I'd rather have them like decide how low they go, I guess. So we'll put it back on the bottom. I was curious, but there you go. So like I said, I just used this great Dollar Tree. Now their craft corner, at least here, changes constantly. You never know what we're gonna get at our Dollar Tree. So this was just sheer. The stretch lace was just a sheer luck, and it's a glare on it probably. So I'm so sorry, but it's Crafters Square brand that our Dollar Tree here in the middle, in like Northern and Central Coast, carries. They have a cute little center of crafts. Now we're getting more wood. We're getting just more base pieces. And I just happened to come across this stretch lace on Mother's Day weekend. Me and Mom went and did thrift stores and Dollar Tree and Target. And we just like looked for stuff. I have a whole haul of stuff on the side. And I have to still organize it. But stretch lace, if you can't find skinny round headbands, and that's it. It's finding them at the right height length. They have to be 9 inches in a way to where they're not going to like compress down, on your cardboard or on your pages. So I'm thinking this is a great option. It seems to be staying pretty tight. I mean, no less tight than any other journal book would be. I mean, my Happy Planner cover has these in them. And they're not super tight. They're not super, they're as tight as you can get them. So if we glue them down, I think it'll really help and we'll be good. So far there we're at. Didn't really plan on doing any graphics with this. So let's see, what do we want to do? Super short. That was really easy. So find yourself an 11 by 9 piece of corrugated cardboard, or if you don't want it super thick, it's then trying to find like a cereal box that you can trim. I thought, mine would be like, I didn't want to have to figure out the binding. I didn't want to have like, maybe it'll be the right size. And all of them are like super wide on the binding. Oh my goodness. I think when I did my Christmas one, I mean my autumn one, I did rely on, this one of course is cut already, but I was relying on this. And this of course is like almost 2 inches. So it's like a little over 1 3/4. Yeah. So it's 1 3/4. So if you really have a big journal that you want to work with, if you don't pull it apart like I did, the sides are great for the binding if you keep the other side, if you can keep it intact. Usually when you do this, there's one side you don't cut off and it's attached. So you could do 1 3/4 if you want to do more signatures, maybe you want 5 signatures. This might be perfect for that. And you would just have to then cut it down to make it, 5 by 9 this way. And you'd have an automatic binding where you would have to worry about scoring it to get it to fit. And then you would just try to get a piece of paper, mark your circles properly so that you know that they line up. And use that little paper template to line it up with this and, put your holes in the right spot. You could do ones in the middle. No, you can't, because then you can't flip it through. So yeah, no, the TN, and you want to just slip it through the elastic lace. You just do however many signatures you have is how many dots you're going to put in your binding. And then you just would have to cut down the rest. So I was hoping I'd have one, but this is way too wide. And I really just wanted a simple 1 inch. But, these boxes are definitely awesome. You cover over this. You can paint this sort of like with just a quick white paint, acrylic paint, paint it white just to sort of primer it. And then, they're multimedia over it, or cover with fabric, or cover with paper. And then you have the inside where you can stencil it. You can add fabric to it. Like, it's sort of easier on the inside when you have sort of a lighter color paper. Or the reverse. It depends. It all depends. But I just got lucky. I happened to notice that I had this piece and it was perfectly the right size, and I didn't have to cut anything. It's even sort of cornered on the bottoms and top, and I think that's sort of cool. So we're going to use this to our benefit. You never know. I may even pull some of this stuff off and really get to the coordinate. Oh my gosh, blanking. What is it? Corrugated. The corrugated sort of idea under it. So maybe we're going to do some splotches. We may have some real fun with this. Who knows what I'm going to do. But there it is. We now have it tied in. All I have to do is glue these guys down. So we'll just do that. Like I said, I think the fun part with this is that I can carefully, hopefully, just pull these in and out as I need to. So they're not in the way. They're not super crazy until I feel like, okay, well, I need a good rhythm. And I guess I'm going to have to cut these. Ooh, I think so, right? I think we did it, ladies and gents. My first TN and my first attempt at a elastic-based method of keeping your signatures in place. So I'm very stoked about that. I am tying them one more time to make a really good knot so that they don't go through the holes. Now the holes, yeah, at first I just used a little scoring tool, and then I went back and I did use my awl to make sure it went through. Alright, and we're just going to, let's get the big scissors, little scissors, so I don't accidentally cut the knots off. Because if I cut the knot off, then I don't have enough. It's going to be super tight, which maybe. Alright, there we go. So I hope you guys are all having a great week. As I said, last week was super short, probably one of the shortest journal with me I've done. Usually I try to start over with something else. I guess you still get a 20-minute. I did it. I had the problem with the sepia bunny journal card mini thing I was working on. Had the same problem. I had one where I worked a whole hour on ephemera and stuff, and it wasn't there. Or no, it was there, and something went wrong when I transferred it from my phone to my computer and into the program. Something went terribly wrong with it, and I lost it. It was just a disaster. I could not get it to load anywhere. Okay, so I'm thinking glitter glue is like the answer to everything. Glitter glue to the rescue. And so I'm gonna try that actually. I just want to like almost like you would treat it like I'm almost treating it like hot glue, but because it does dry clear. And I'm just sort of coating it. I'm gonna fill that hole a little bit, and let's see if that dries in a little bit. Let's see what it does. So that's my attempt. We'll see, right? We will see. Enough to maybe, I don't know, maybe it'll stay and put, and it's a little bit bulky down there, but I mean, I'm not doing anything else with it. I really want them to stay in place. I just want them, so we're just going to let that sit and dry. But now we get the fun of taking scraps and extra pieces of paper, and we're going to cover the outside where I can just slip papers underneath. And I'm going to get really fun with this and try to find fun ways to, because normally like lace and things like that wouldn't be in a veterans retro nurse thing. We want papers, we want documents, we want, you know, the brighter colors of, and a lot of, I think, very scrappy. I think we're going to take a lot of the pieces that we used and cut up. Like, I mean, like I said, I have all these leftovers, right? So the pieces we had left over from making the books, I think we're going to use to sort of start scrapping together the cover. I think, because I mean, I knew we would use these for belly bands. We could use these for tucks. Oh, she's so pretty though. I love, you know, where she's at with it. So I don't know if we can leave them or I'm going to be using them. Seriously using them. I wonder if that fits. I'm like, I don't know if that fits. Oh, almost on top to bottom though. I'm like, well, almost. It does fit within there. Get crafty with it, right? That'd be a nice contrast. So that, once it's done, we'll have to figure out how to carefully do this, because it is the corrugated, so you can put holes in it real easy. Oh my goodness. Alright, ladies and gents, we've got that. What do I have? Oh, these are all the extra. Yeah, so see, oh, I guess that was the thought. Oh, so yeah, I had the pieces I started with that were like, I attempted this and was like way off. So I have that I can cut up. I have, this was my, sample for the little ones. This was for the A4s that I created in this kit that you guys could use. So again, I have things I can trim out and definitely collage with. So we have some papers here. We have some base pieces that I can use. This was I was testing something out, so nothing goes to waste. That might be really pretty to back most of this, or even on the inside maybe. We sort of do this and we figure out how to, I'll decide what to do on the outside edges. I don't think I have any washies or anything that would work. So we might have to put a few little strips underneath this. Maybe rip it just right to give it some fun effects, or but that might be a good inside. It's just because it's just journal paper. I'm not using any of the girls'. I'm trying to see. So that might be my inside cover. We might then go right underneath it, which is great. We'll just score it to help it bend. And then I'll just have to figure out how to, or what to, I should say, not figure out how to, but we'll have to, you know, cover this. Maybe we paint it. I'm really tempted. I'm like, maybe we paint this a little bit to give us another element. Because the white's sort of stark. So even if I distress this a little bit and even ripped it with the Tim Holtz torn look, we still want, for texture and just dimension, we still need something on the background. And I don't know if I want to just, I don't want to glue just a small piece of paper here. So, because then you can see the line in it. So that doesn't work. So yeah, maybe we do some painting. Maybe we paint around the edges a little sporadically. So it's just like a marble thing. And then if we rip this and we distress this over it, that gives me a little bit of a mixed media. And that might be a really cool effect for the inside. So there we go. See, we try to remember that. Right? Gotta remember to do that. Well, let's do this. So while it's drying, let's see if I can get it in here as a reminder to what I was doing. Because you'll forget. By the time I get back to this again. So we'll put that up there as an idea. This is gluing. It is sort of, I am sort of wiping at it just to see. It's sticking. We'll see. I may have to keep sort of blotting at it so that it doesn't, come on. It doesn't really stick down, but it may stick in place. Yeah. Luckily, it does dry clear. My fingers are a disaster. I just did my nails, of course, too. Oh, figured you guys needed to see something different. It's my own nails, you know. I do have a little bit of length right now. Not a lot, just a little bit. So I put the Color Street stickers on. And this is like a rose gold. Ooh, yeah, right? Rose gold. Yeah, rose gold. I like the glitter because it's sort of, it's an ombre, you know, or it's a cascade of, from, you know, a lot to a little. So I like that imperfection. So in case something goes wrong, you really can't tell, especially when we're working on stuff. So, all right, ladies and gents, we have potential for a cover. We maybe have a little bit of a mixed media in the painting and distressing the cover inside to get it to give us a piece of paper and cover the inside. We've got scraps to start working with, which is great to help maybe collage the front to match the rest. So we'll use those pieces over there. I don't need that anymore. What else? And then of course, you know, we have all the ephemera to start playing with, which is great. We have cards, we have fussy cuts. I'll have to look to see what pockets I made. I know I have washi bands, but we're going to definitely want to decorate, you know, a couple of these pages up, not too much. We do want room to journal in this one. But it might be like I want something on each front and back of each cover, in the corners a little bit. This one will keep a little simpler. We won't go too crazy, but we could, you know, decorate. We could put pockets and tucks on this one. On the decorative ones, we can just add to them and leave the plain ones to write on. Yeah, so we'll work on these and just put little things in the corners and leave lots of journaling space in each one of these, since there's not a whole lot of paper. Each one only has so many each. So we want to make sure there's plenty of room to write lovely things in here for everybody. All right, so there is my TN cover. Like I said, we want to go 9 by 5 is your final fold, and of course this is paper, it's just not sticking. But 9 by 5 is your final. When it's folded, I put a 1-inch binding on it because I only have the 3 signatures. If you decide you want more signatures than something like a larger cereal box and it has closer to a 1 3/4, then you have that room to keep adding as many signatures as you see fit. And this was that stretchy lace from Dollar Tree, so which works perfectly in color this round. I have, you know, the blue works, and it allows me to put these guys in here as a true TN with the, you know, planner bands instead of sewing it in, as we would do in maybe a standard traditional journal. So I'm stoked that this is working out, that this tiny little adventure of mine is doing its job. So I'm going to go ahead and cut off. If it looks like something comes up and I need to do more, I'll chime back in, because this is probably a very short video. For me, it's under 30 minutes. So yeah, no, we'll leave it be. And if I get somewhere with this, I'll either do a extra or a bonus or plan 2, but this is Thursday Journal with Me as we work on the Heroes in Retro TN, and we have decided that this cover idea does work, and we have some multimedia decorating to do for the cover, and then we'll do a little bit of ephemera and stuff for inside as we go along. This won't be a series, this will just come and go throughout the week. My goal is in June to do a lot more retro pieces. We've got the retros in Heroes in Retro TN we'll work on and off throughout June. We have the Retro Sweet Treats planner stickers. There'll be a week, it will be a Journal with Me, Plan with Me. It'll be a Happy Planner with Me week. Well, I'm getting my first week of June prepped and ready. We will do that for the kids being off for the first week, and what kind of fun treats and exciting adventures we're going to have. So that will be, I have a retro kit for that week. We also have my Kitchenette Recipe Keeper journal, which is a hinge journal. And that one, I also want to work on that. You know, we have to do a lot of tracing and cutting so we can start creating each page, because that being on a ring with eyelets needs a thicker paper. So we're going to do like what we did with this, but we're going to do a thinner cardboard and get those pages started so that they're nice and sturdy, so I can put other pockets on those so we have room to store recipes. And probably back to this. So definitely June is going to be my retro June before we get into Christmas in July. And then it's fall, and, you know, away we go with the holidays. It's going to be here before we know it. So I really appreciate you joining in and chiming in and seeing what's going on here as we come to the end of May. Next week will be the final reveal of the Botanical Journal, as it's as done as I can get it to be. So that'll be fun to show that off. And then we'll go back into, we'll definitely do retro in June. So thank you for chiming in. This is Jolene with AJeweldDesign. I hope you enjoyed the quick tutorial, not even a tutorial, but a quick idea on how to continue on with the TNs and ways to, create a cover that may nicely encompass, ways to hold this in place. And like I said, I'm really stoked with it. I think it'll be great. And well, as it gets heavier, I think it'll sit really well with each piece. We'll debate on, I'm like, do I really want to put this in? So we are still doing the cover, but I definitely love putting them in place so I don't lose them all. See, I moved it and the whole thing came unglued. Bad me. I'm just as bad with my nails. I'm just as bad. I cannot stay still long enough for my nails to dry. That's why I normally I would always go, to have someone else do them. Forces me to stay put because, well, they don't want to redo them. Like, nope, you sit till they're dry. Nope, you sit till they're dry. So, okay, I put it in there, but I'm not going to touch it. We're going to try to let it stay down, see if it works, if that's enough, or whether I'm going to have to do a little bit of that hot glue gun thing. But I don't want to, because I don't want to make it super bulky down there. And we don't want it really to get it in the way of what we are doing. So, all right, ladies and gents, we are done with our journal with me this week. Our TN is now got a home. It's got a base for its cover. We know what to do with it, and we will continue to do a little mixed media on the cover, probably in the next video. And next video I work on this. When it'll be sometime in June. And hopefully you like retro, and if that's your thing, definitely tune in all of June. Otherwise, come back in July as we start revealing old kits for Christmas, new Christmas kits. I still have to work on a Christmas journal that I never got to last year, so we may be working on that in July. And away we go. So thank you. If you came across me by accident, I hope you'll subscribe. If you're already subscribed, I hope you enjoy this, and we'll hit a like and a comment. I really love hearing from you, ladies, about how I'm doing and how things are going and what you like to see, and if I'm on the right track with what I'm doing, with what you like. And it'll be a few weeks, but I do have more kits digitally coming. I'm just hit a week of technical difficulties, and so I had to just go, nope, put it away, and we'll start again next week. And that's okay. Sometimes you just need a break and you need to recharge the batteries and then come back swinging, swinging hard, hitting that home run. So thank you all. I really appreciate you watching, and I will talk to you guys next week.